Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, and thank you for joining us once again, TheModenstersOfGaming. I'm KaijuK, and with me is actually no one this time around. I'm actually trying something a little different this time. I'm actually bringing you guys a solo video about a topic that I've enjoyed for many, many years, and I don't think it gets enough attention. And that would be the world of Fakemon. Now, Pokemon has been around for ages now, and there's been over 800 plus Pokemon, not to mention the ones that weren't added to games that were just kind of pushed to the side. There's plenty of them. But there's been lots of fan-made games that have made some really interesting Fakemon. And if this series goes good enough, I might actually go to places like DeviantArt and other sites and begin picking up those Fakemon. Now, I have a few rules when it comes to my choices. The first rule, of course, is it has to be a completed Pokemon. What that means is that it has to have types, it has to have weaknesses, it has to have a full move list, it has to have attributes. It can't. I mean, it could be in the game and just not accessible. But as long as I can find information about it, I plan on putting it up. The second rule is I'm trying to avoid using any real Pokemon. Now, there are going to be some exceptions. For instance, some sites have created evolutions to Pokemon that are really awesome. And others, for instance, what you're going to see first on this, have created Mega Evolutions that are just definitely needed. I thought that Sun and Moon didn't really do a good job when it came to the Mega Evolutions, and the Z moves were just an attempt at a replacement that really didn't do you much good. It just guaranteed you a one-hit, basically, unless the opponent had the right type on the other side or the right ability. Now, that being said, this is my first solo video, so I might be a little on the off side because usually I have Necro here, or I have Reaper, or I have Kitten. So if I seem a little off, my apologies. It's not necessarily meant. Also, their websites will be given for each one of these Pokemon. It'll be put into the bottom of the indentation. But down in the information below. So if you want to check out these websites and check out these Pokemon, be my guest. Also, please, please, please remember that these are Pokemon games that you can download and play. They're Fakemon, they're free games, there's no money going towards Pokemon whatsoever, or the people who created the game. So, without further ado, let me start with the only honorable mention on this list for the top 10 bug types. And it's actually a Mega Evolution. As you can see in the picture here, that's Flygon in the upper right corner, but what's below it? Well, that's this guy right here. This is Mega Flygon, and as you can see, he's pretty badass looking. Mega Flygon, of course, is a bug dragon type, which is a really cool switch, and it gains an ability called Amplifier. Now, what Amplifier does is Amplifier is basically an ability, it boosts sound moves. So as you can see, here's a list of the sound moves currently that it would boost. And amongst them, there are certain ones that are really cool. For instance, it will boost Boom Burst, which is an amazingly overpowered ability to begin with. Bug Buzz as well. It can boost Relic Song, which means that I believe that certain Pokemon who know that song should be able to get that as a secret ability. And of course, Snarl and Snore, which are two of my all-time favorites that are not used enough. Now, stat-wise, well, this is from Pokemon Insurgents, by the way. The flapping of its wings sound like singing. It prevents detection by enemies. Oh, to prevent detection by enemies, it hides itself by flapping up a cloud of desert sand, even though it's found in the Safari Zone. Now, statistically, Mega Flygon gets a slight boost to its attack, a huge boost to its special attack, and a huge boost to its speed, bringing it to a really high score. Now, there is a slight downside to this, and an upgrade. The downside is, of course, that you have a few new weaknesses added to you, which are Flying and Rock, but it takes your Ice-type weakness and reduces it only to a 2x instead of a 4x. You also gain a few more resistances, so that's always cool. Move-wise, I'm just going to stop here so you can see it learns these moves. It's basically Flygon, but it gains a few new ones, like you'll see Drakian Voice, Ancient Roar. Those are new moves, and I believe they're specific to Flygon's Mega Evolution as well. And of course, I can go through here, and here's by breeding. I can learn Bug Bite, I can learn Gust, Signal Beam, Defog. I can also learn Crunch and Superpower, but that's not what we're here for. Boop, 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 boop. Now this guy right here is pretty potent, and he's pretty OP, especially with his Flygonite, which you can see there in the upper, well, about the center of the screen. However, while I'm going through this, I also like to think of what kind of moves I would like to give this guy. So, Flygon, Bug Dragon type. His special ability, of course, as you can see down here is, well, you can't see because I'm not pointing at it properly, but is Amplifier. I think I would give it a full suite of sound-based attacks. Since Boom Burst and Bug Buzz are very powerful, and because Bug Buzz is a bug type, it also gets the boost from Stab, same type attack bonus. Dragon Voice is a sound-based dragon attack, so of course he also gets the stab from that. And Ancient Roar is a rock type attack, which he also gets the boost from. Now I'll show you those real quick, because of course these are brand new Pokemon abilities, so of course we'll look at Ancient Roar first. Now, as you can see here, Ancient Roar is a damage-dealing move, and it is one of the signature moves of Vibrava and Flygon. The other being Dragon Voice. So I was right; those are all personal abilities of his. It doesn't have any secondary effect, but 80 power and 100% accuracy. Not to mention that it gains stab and, of course, the bonus from Amplifier. This makes it a pretty potent ability, and if you smack an opponent with this who's weak to rock, ooh, they're going to feel it, especially when you're packing that 100, was it 130 or is it 140? 140 special attack. Oh, it's just all kinds of pain. The other move being Drakian Voice. A power of 105, an accuracy of 85, and no secondary effect. This is another exclusive move only to the Flygon line. I want to say this much, folks. As much as I like Garchomp, I've always loved Flygon more. And this Mega Evolution really puts him on the map by making him just that much stronger, that much more potent, that much just more awesome. Alright, so let's get this top 10 list over with, seeing as I'm already a few minutes in. So we'll start off with Carajoule. Now, Carajoule is from Pokemon Sage, which is an amazing game. I really wish they would continue with it. I don't know if they are or not, but I would really like to. Now, Carajoule is a bug electric type with a special ability Static. Of course, Static is one of those moves where there's a 30% chance if an opponent makes contact, it'll paralyze them. So that's already a bonus. Its Pokedex entry, Carajoule tends to serve as sentries for the Hive. It can use its tail to flash signals or warnings and to attack foes with powerful jolts of electricity. Now, it's an evolution from Larvabide, which, starting at level 19, if its attack and defense are equal, which is kind of difficult to do, but I guess you could do it up. Now, when I played Pokemon Sage, I did get myself a Carajoule. Even though for some strange reason my defense was a few points higher than my attack, I think it's got to be like a wide gap. Going down statistically, I mean, it's not the best Pokemon, but I mean, look at those eyebrows. Look at those eyebrows. Those are freaking amazing, ain't they? It's cool. It's cool. You know, it's got some good stats. I mean, its speed ain't that bad. Special attack isn't too bad. It's got weaknesses to rock and fire, which isn't too bad. I mean, it doesn't have a lot of weaknesses, so I mean, you're looking at a huge advantage there. You know, as long as you avoid the standard things like a flamethrower or a rock slide or something. It also gains access to a lot of really cool abilities, some of which are abilities that you can only get in this game. For instance, like Web Ball, but you know, if you want to see what Web Ball does, Web Ball's a cool move from Pokemon Sage. It hits a lot. It hits for 65, and has a 100% chance of lowering the target's speed one stage. So it's pretty potent. As you can see, it gains access to one of my all-time favorite moves in the entire game, which would be Tail Glow. Bing, bing, bing. I love Tail Glow. I also love Discharge. That's another really cool move. It gains access to a whole lot of TMs and HMs, as you can see. Charge Beam, Giga Drain, Wild Charge. Also has access to Electric Web by a Move Tutor. And it can learn Leech Life, which, by the way, while it does show here that Leech Life only has an attack of 20, remember, it got a huge boost thanks to Pokemon Sun and Moon, so that attack power is now, I believe, 80. So that's pretty cool, and that's in its own favor as far as a bug type goes. Now, Carajoule, I'm going to guess its name is Carajoule, but I could be wrong. While it's not the best Pokemon, it does have access to quite a few potent moves. How I would set him up is I would give him Discharge, Bug Buzz, and Giga Drain, and I would give it Tail Glow. With Tail Glow, it boosts your special attack by, I believe it's it's 3. It's 3 stages, which really makes moves like Discharge, Bug Buzz, and definitely Giga Drain far more powerful. Like I said, Tail Glow is probably one of my favorite bug type moves. with Leech Life and Quiver Dance just above it. Plus, I mean, I just loved how Carajoule works, and he helped me through what little of the game I was able to play. So, I mean, he's pretty awesome, all in all. Next up, we're going to have another bug type, of course, Dub. And we're bringing up Mortasque, or Mortasque, the Skull Moth Pokemon. It's a bug flying type that has access to Intimidate. Oh, jeez, hang on a second. Has access to Intimidate and Malice. Now, Malice is a Pokemon Stage only ability, which causes damage taken from opponents from secondary damage. As you can see, Life Orb, Spikes, Weather, other end damage, which I believe means things such as being burned, poisoned, etc., will be increased by 50%. This effect does not stack with itself. That I don't understand what it means. But what this comes down to is, if you have an opponent and you hit it with Toxic, it'll do double the damage. Fire, Spikes, Hail, you name it. I believe it also counts for things like crash damage too, which makes it really awesome against certain Pokemon that are going to use moves like Head Smash and Double Edge. Now, besides being just a really cool looking Pokemon, its Pokedex entry is it can make human-like sounds to scare away predators and unnerve those who enter its domain. Many haunted houses are merely nests for Mortasque. So sometimes it can also be found with a Shed Shell, which isn't a bad item either. Statistically, it's got pretty good stats, other than its defense and its attack, but it doesn't need any attack when it has 110 special attack minimum and 105 speed, which puts it over a lot of Pokemon. Weaknesses, however, you do got to be careful. It is weak to rock types big time, 4x weakness. And of course, Flying, Fire, Electric, and Ice. Ice being the only one out of that group. That's not too common, but you got to be careful. You get hit by a Rock Slide or a Rollout, and your Mortasque is going to take some hits, because its stats are not good in that department. Move-wise, it has a lot of moves that are similar to other Moth-type bugs. From Butterfree on up, I mean, it has access to Stun Spore and Silverwind, Rage Powder, a move I've never actually used because I just don't like how it works. It gains access to other moves. If you want to look some of these up, folks, I ask that you go to the website for Pokemon Sage Wiki and just start looking this stuff up. But it's the move on the bottom that has the most heart, and that's called Terrorize. We'll get to that in a minute, though. Don't worry. TM-wise, it has a huge selection of TMs: Faucade, Rest, Attract. I love Attract, by the way. It's a great move. Also has access to Dark Pulse, which is pretty cool, even though it's not a Dark type. And move-wise, it can gain moves. Once again, Electric Web. A lot of Pokemon Sage Pokemon can learn Electric Web. And of course, if you really want to, one of its previous evolutions, which is its Mascoon, which you see right there, hello Mascoon, can teach it Iron Defense if you wait a few levels. So that's always cool to have. All in all, Mortasque is a really cool Pokemon. I love its design, especially the coloring. The coloring is awesome. Now, if I were going to play this Pokemon, I wouldn't go with Malice, because that doesn't seem to be a way to do it. But I would use the move Intimidate, or the ability Intimidate, to give it that boost. Because it has pretty good speed and pretty good special attack, I'd give it moves like Air Slash and Bug Buzz for stab. Quiver Dance, as you saw below, to boost its special attack, special defense, and speed. And Terrorize. Now, what Terrorize is, as you can see here, Terrorize is a Ghost-type move with 120 power and 70 accuracy. Now, not only does it hit really hard, but it has a 10% chance of causing confusion. While it might not be saving you a lot, it can hit pretty hard, and due to the fact that you know Quiver Dance, you can boost that by a lot. It's a really, really fun move, and it's really, really cool Pokemon altogether. Next up, coming from Pokemon Solar Light and Lunar Dark, another game I want them to finish so badly, is Dracofly. Now, Dracofly is just... oh man, he's such a cool Pokemon. Just how he looks. I mean, he looks like he's just like, hey, how's it going? He's just like chilling out and everything like that. He gains access to Moxie and of course Speed Boost, which is the only real move you need to give this guy. Moxie's cool, but Speed Boost really helps you in every way, shape, and form. Now, he can only evolve from Bug Ray by knowing the move Dragon Tail, which is a cool concept I like. Its Pokedex entry is Dracofly are coveted by bug catchers, but difficult to find. Any bug catcher who catches one automatically becomes a bug maniac. So I guess that's one way of gaining an evolution to bug maniac. Oh no, he's evolving to Bug Maniac. Stat-wise, as you can see, defensive stats are not its friend. Defense and special defense are low. Health is low, so I'd probably use my my points to boost those. But it's got great attack and a pretty good special attack, but its speed is where it's at. At 125, it's pretty fast. Weakness-wise, Flying Rock, those are the two big ones, and of course Fairies, which are huge now. Ice and Dragon aren't as common, so you don't have to worry much about that. Move-wise, as you can see, once again, it learns Leech Life. Now, once again, this only says 20 because it hasn't been updated. It gains access to Dragon Tail, Dragon Dance, Dragon Rush, Struggle Bug, which I like too. Struggle Bug's a pretty awesome move. And then down here, it gains access to all kinds of moves, including Heat Wave, which is a really strange one for a bug type to learn. That isn't a bug fire, but Heat Wave, Knock Off, I mean, Twister. Yeah, you know, you can learn a lot of pretty cool moves. And of course, there's just that look on its face that just like, what's up? How you doing? You having a good day? I am too. How I would set him up is, of course, use Speed Boost. I would give him Leech Life, Dragon Rush, Fever, which I'll show you guys in a minute, and Hone Claws. I'd give him the item Shell Bell as well. Now, Shell Bell is an underrated item, guys, and I really think people need to look at it more. Basically, what it is, whenever you damage an opponent, you're healed a certain percentage of the damage you dealt to them. And when you have moves like Hone Claw or Sword Dance, where you can boost your attack even higher, the amount of HP you can gain back pretty much beats out moves like Leftovers. Now, Fever is a poison-type move, as you can see right here, which has a power of 60. So this is great for dealing with those annoying fairy types that are going to try and come in and block you. On top of that, though, it has a 10% chance of causing burn, not poison, which is also cool. It's like Scald, too. I always like that. Scald can do fire, can burn you, even though it's a water-type attack. But all in all, Dracofly is just really cool looking. He's got some good moves and abilities, and the fact that he can just keep speed boosting will allow him to outspeed most threats and even help him get swapped out if he has to be. Next up, we have Crystiwinf. Now, Crystiwinf, I'm just going to click on him real quick. Crystiwinf is just a beautifully designed Pokemon. I really like the detail in the wings. Ooh, what the heck? Oh, there we go. We're back. This is a Pokemon also from Solar Light and Lunar Dark, obviously. That's the Crystal Moth Pokemon. I mean, just the coloring and the design on it's amazing. It's a beautiful Pokemon. It's got really pretty wings and has access to Tinted Lens, Ice Body, and Sturdy. Tinted Lens, of course, being the best of the three in my personal opinion. Its Pokedex reads, the crystals on its body are made up of super cooled ice that have a temperature below 200 degrees Celsius. When its wings reflect light from the sun, they create tiny beams of aurora. So that's just beautiful right there. Stat-wise, it has really high speed, really good special attack, and a decent special defense and attack. With defense and health being its only lower points, but of course you could also boost those. However, when we get down to weaknesses, it has a 4x weakness to fire and rock, and a 2x weakness to flying and steel. While steel types aren't as common, if you're versing somebody in combat, you'll most likely run into fire, rock, or flying, or a combination of the three. Move-wise, of course, it gains some really interesting moves. It gains Automatize, which is cool. Mirror Coat, Aurora Beam, which is awesome. But of course, the move you got to pay attention to, it learns Quiver Dance at only level 23, which is awesome. It also learns Roost at 54, and Sheer Cold at 70, but I don't use those one-hit kill moves because I can never land them. Gains access to other moves, like it can learn Toxic, it can learn Calm Mind, it can learn Thunderbolt, which is a pretty cool move to teach it. It can learn Struggle, it can learn Flash Cannon, it can learn Wild Charge. I don't know why you'd teach it Wild Charge, but you can teach it Wild Charge. Move Tutor, as you can see. Ominous Wind is a cool one. Bug Bite is a cool one. Of course, this is my own personal opinion, and of course its evolutionary line, as you can see, is right there. Cresselia to Criscoon to Crystiwinf. Get back up here real quick. Now, because it has so many weaknesses, you have to be kind of careful, but other than that, I'd give it Tinted Lens to give it the ability to hit Pokemon who are even not very effective for a little more damage. Frost Breath, I always loved Frost Breath due to the fact that it always criticals. Combined with Quiver Dance can make it very powerful. Bug Buzz also for stab, Roost for healing, and Quiver Dance for boosting stats. I just can't help but notice, it's just such a beautiful Pokemon, I'm sorry. Next is a really funny but really cool Pokemon as well. Coming from Pokemon Sage, of course, is the Enigmantis, the Divination Pokemon. Now, this is a Bug Psychic, as you can see, with the abilities Compound Eyes or Forewarn, Compound Eyes being the only one you should really need. Enigmantis uses its perfect rounded gem to focus its psychic powers. Robbing it of this stone leaves it sluggish and listless. That being said, it can be found with the Polished Stone. Now, what the Polished Stone is, you'll barely be able to see it up here, but in the top corner up here, it's an item that can only be found on it 1% of the time, which sucks. But it raises the special attack and special defense of Enigmantis. That being said, Enigmantis has huge special attack and great special defense, so it could use that for no other reason than just give itself a huge boost. Lacking in the health department and defense department, but still really good speed too. Just 5 short of 500 for total points, but once again, give it the orb and that'll boost. My guess is it's kind of like Pikachu's, which probably doubles the stat or something like that, or just gives it some kind of a boost. I've never actually found the lustrous, or I have never actually found the polished sphere, so I can't tell you what it really is. Weakness-wise, it has a gamut of weaknesses. All 2X's, but all 2 common as well. I think when I play online through Pokemon Showdown, I actually run into teams that have basically one of every one of these Pokemon, if not Pokemon that have all these move types. That being said, though, it does gain access to quite a few really potent moves. Web Ball, Psycho Bolt, which you can look up when you want to. I suggest you do because it's awesome. TM-wise, it gets the same gambit that most Psychic types get. It gains Energy Ball and Charge Beam, which are pretty awesome to have. Nothing but the Mood Tutor, and by breeding, well, you can see there's a bunch of question marks there. I don't know where they get Cosmic Power from, but I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it comes from KaijuK, which is this guy, it's the guy that teaches it Rollout, because I think it can learn Cosmic Power too. And prior to evolution, of course, Slash, Fury Cutter, not a lot of big ones. Steamroller's cool though, and that's its unevolved form, Enigmite, which is cute as well. He's really adorable. So once again, yeah, if I were going to pick to make him competitive, which I'm not good at, so I mean, you guys can call me out on it. I'm not really good at this. I'd probably give it its Polished Sphere and Compound Eyes, so it has a big boost to stats and accuracy. I would definitely teach it Hypnosis Dream Eater combo due to the huge special attack boost it has. Web Ball to give it some kind of an advantage, and stab bonus against opponents, and Cosmic Power to boost its defense. Definitely its defense, not so much its special defense. And once again, I can't say it enough, just a really beautiful Pokemon. I love the color scheme, too. The color scheme just screams awesome sauce. Next up is a really, really cool one, a really, really strange one. This one also comes from Sage. You'll notice a lot of these guys are going to come from Sage. This is Trenchula, the ensnaring Pokemon. Trenchula uses its powerful mandibles to drill into the earth, forming a pitfall trap to ensnare prey. It often works alongside miners underground. This is one of those rare times where it even says that the Pokemon actually helps people, because Trenchula helps miners. Now, I look at him and I say Bug Dark type or Bug Steel type, but Bug Ground isn't too bad, and Arena Trap being its only ability, I don't know. I mean, I don't like Arena Trap because it always traps you, but it is still a pretty cool move, especially in competitive to keep your opponent from switching out. Stat-wise, as you notice, huge boosts to attack and defense, not so much in the special defense department. Okay speed, special attack does not exist, just ignore that category. Weak to flying, fire, water, and ice types, which once again, flying, fire, and water are common. Ice is not so common, but it can still hurt you pretty bad. You can see it gains access to a lot of it has a lot of coverage moves and a lot of different types. I can see bug types, normal, ground, and poison. Rock types as well. Hone Claws, which is always a good move to give Pokemon. It's once again one of those underrated moves. Gains Bulldoze. He gets a lot of HMs and TMs. Once again, there it is, Electro Web once more. He also gains Stealth Rock, which could be pretty cool to be used. as well as some really powerful ones down here. Steamroller, Signal Beam, Power Gem. It can learn Drill Peck, which is also really cool. But there's its unevolved form of Minarch at the bottom. He's so cute. First time I found him, I fell in love with how cute he was, not knowing that by giving him Dig, he would evolve into this beast right here. Now, Trenchula doesn't really gain much as far as stat-wise. I definitely put a little to his speed. But Trenchula, I'd probably give him a Shell Bell once again because I love the move. Leech Life and Drill Rush for stab coverage. Electro Web to protect itself from flying types and water types, as well as to slow opponents down. And Sword Dance to give it a huge boost to stats. It can deal a lot of damage in combat. I've had him before. With Sage, I believe you have to download another program in order to play again. You can set up like your own matches and everything, so you can test out the Pokemon. So that's another thing I can say that's pretty cool about Pokemon Sage. Next up is one of the creepiest Pokemon I've ever run into, but one of the coolest as well. This is Mawasite, coming to you from Pokemon Stage once again, the Occupier Pokemon. Now, that scaly fish on its back was originally a fish that it was hiding in its mouth, and it just grew. It says right here in its Pokedex entry, Mawasite has now fully overtaken its host's mind and body. By seizing complete control, the bodies have become inseparable. Ooh. There's a horror story for you. It gains access to Shed Skin and Adaptability, two really awesome moves. Shed Skin gives a 30% chance at the end of each round to get rid of stats effects such as poison, while Adaptability changes your stab bonus to 2 times when you're using bug and water type moves, or whatever moves you happen to be. If you're a flying fire type, it'd be flying fire, obviously. As you can see, stat-wise, it's got pretty decent stats all around. A little boost here, a little boost there, and you could change him just about anything. I like the fact that his special attack and regular attack aren't too off, so you can still use special attacks and regular and physical attacks to gain the best of the ground. Weakness ways, it's only weak to 3 types, which are Flying Rock and Electric. However, Flying Rock and Electric are common types. Move list, of course, it has Knockoff, Leech Life once again. It can learn Aqua Ring, which is a pretty cool move. Frost Slash, which we'll come back to later. Razor Shell, probably my second favorite water type attack in the game. It can learn Earthquake, which is cool. It can learn Sludge Bomb, which can really ruin an opponent's day. Giga Drain, once again. I love how a lot of bugs can learn grass type attacks, which is pretty cool for getting rid of like rock types. From the move tutor, you don't learn too much. You can learn Iron Defense to give yourself a bit of a stat boost. You can also learn Iron Tail and Iron Head, lots of steel type moves. And of course, by breeding, you can learn Bug Buzz, Signal Beam, Soak, which recently I've seen people using Soak and Toxic against steel types, which is a great combo. It also has access to Aurora Beam and Bug Buzz, and in the bottom corner here, you can see Parappy, which is a little bug inside of a fish's body, and it's taken over. It's so cute yet so creepy at the same time. Oh yeah, that's a scary Pokemon right there. Ugh. The thought of something crawling inside of you and taking over. Ugh. I don't know. Now there's a lot of ways you can play Mawasite ability-wise. Obviously, Shed Skin or Adaptability can be swapped back and forth. Personally, I prefer Shed Skin. But this move list could be used with Adaptability as well. I would give it Leech Life and Razor Shell for stab bonus and healing, as well as Razor Shell's defense drop. Frost Slash, which I'll show you real quick, is an Ice-type move with a high critical ratio and a 10% chance of freezing the target. That's basically Ice Beam with a physicality, but it has a high crit rate, which is also awesome. And last but not least, I would give it Earthquake so it could cover the last of its weaknesses, because it can cover rocks with Razor Shell. It can cover flying and electric. It can cover electric with Earthquake, and it can also take out flying with Frost Slash. All around, a truly terrifying Pokemon, and as you saw through its move list, it has a wide range of abilities to cover all kinds of different Pokemon. Make your pick. Now, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. We're coming down to the last few Pokemon. So, let's cover these guys, and you'll probably enjoy it enough. This is the next one coming up. Oh, let me just bring up the top screen. Hello, Mawasite. Next up, we bring you Frosthra, or Mothra as I like to call it. Frosthra comes to you from Pokemon Uranium, one of the best, if not the best, Pokemon fan-made game in the world. I know I gush over it all the time. Leave me alone. Frosthra is another bug ice type. Its special ability, though, is what makes it terrifying. It has Deep Freeze. Now, Deep Freeze is like a really, really nasty version of Static, which, when an opponent hits, it makes contact, there's a 30% chance of the Pokemon becoming frozen. 1 out of 3 times, you're going to be frozen. That's terrifying. That really is. It says, its Pokedex entry, they leave a shimmering trail of ice crystals behind them as they fly. They are prized in many regions for their rarity and beauty. And taking a look at it, it is a very pretty Pokemon. Very fluffy, very colorful wings. It's animated in the game, so of course it's going to have flapping wings and everything like that. Stat-wise, it's nothing to sneeze at. At 550, it's just short of Legendary, with massive points to special attack, speed, and special defense. Good health, defense, and attack, Now, weaknesses, you'll notice a different type of weakness. You'll notice nuclear weakness here. You can ignore that for now. That's a new type that's only found in Pokemon Uranium, which is basically strong against every type except for, I believe, steel and poison, and it's weak against every type except for poison. As you can see, 4x weaknesses to rock and fire, 2x weaknesses to flying and steel. Be very careful with this guy. He got a lot of bulk with him, but he can go down pretty fast. With the move list, you're taking a lot of good moves here, specifically moves like Freeze Dry, Quiver Dance, Bug Buzz, even Silver Wind and Frost Breath, and Hurricane too, if you want to go that route. Before its evolution, though, you can learn it moves like Avalanche, even though it's not too slow, and Acid Armor to boost that defense. Now that could be really useful, seeing as its defense is so low. The similar move list that you'd get from the previous Frost Pokemon up there, except Infestation's added. And through tutoring, you can learn some cool ones. A Sticky Web is always fun, so is Signal Beam and Air Cutter. And via breeding, you can teach it, well, I guess Screech is okay. And there's its evolution line right there. And of course, if you want to see the front and back, that's the shiny one on the bottom, which does not look like an ice type to me. It looked like it became a dark fire type. According to here down at Design Origins, it says Frosthra is likely based off of the, I'm not going to try and say that, Isabella Tiger Moth. It also draws inspiration from Mothra, the giant moth from Godzilla films. Yes, and of course, Frosthra comes from Frost and Mothra. I had to show you guys that, I'm sorry. It's just such a cool thing. They're naming them after Pokemon, after some of my favorite. I'm a huge Kaiju fan, aka KaijuK. Now, if I were going to give this guy some moves, I'd probably, first of all, I'd give it the Shell Bell because it has great attack power. Bug Buzz and Freeze Dry for coverage. I like how Freeze Dry can take water types down, which is it's not too common a move, doing bonus damage against them. I believe I have a Pokemon later on in the fire group that has fire attacks that are strong against flying types. I also give it Air Cutter for a little bit of coverage, or more coverage, and Quiver Dance to give it a huge boost. This, combined with its defensive capability with Deep Freeze, will make you survive a lot unless you're up against special attackers. Something like I hate to bring it up, but something like a Charizard X or Y, I can't remember which one it was, could probably ruin your day by bringing Drought and some fire attacks at you. However, we don't need to worry about that much. Coming down the last group, we got 2 more. First of all, we have Basilect. Now, Basilect is another dragon flying type. It's the Apex Pokemon. Basilect uses its powerful pinchers to shear and jab foes. Opposing Basilisks will grapple with their pinchers and try to hurt the other as far as they can. It evolves from Dracofly. Now, it can only learn Swarm, so I mean, it's going to be really strong with Bug-type attacks. Statistically, it is an absolute beast, though. Look at those stats. Those stats are just delicious. You can build this Pokemon 100 ways and still make it work. I would definitely probably boost its speed and its defense, though. Weakness category, Flying, Rock, Ice, and Dragon. Not too much to worry about there as long as you keep yourself, safe and in your thought process. It has moves like Seismic Toss and Vice Grip, which are just basic moves that it'll start with. But then it learns great moves. It can learn X-Scissor, it can learn Dual Chop, it can learn Mega Horn, which is just amazing. Dragon Dance, and Superpower, which I tend not to use unless I have a Pokemon with Contrary. As you can see from the move list, things like Earthquake are a great move it can learn. Once again, Giga Drain, if you want to go special attack. It can also learn Drain Punch, with its already incredible attack power. Is always a cool move. And of course, prior to its evolution, which you can see down there, it's just so disgusting as Larvin. It's just this fat little thing. Then Dracofly, and finally Basilect. It can learn, well, really Crunch is the only one you want to know there. It says, let's go through the trivia real quick. Labyrinth and its evolutions were created as self-imposing challenge to combine the weakest bug and the strongest dragon types in Pokemon. At 600, Basilect has the highest base stat total of all bug types in the Sage Pokedex. Basilect also has the highest base HP and special defense of all bug types. At 134, it has the highest base attack of all Pokemon in Sage. And it's a mixture of Western Dragons and Stag Beetles, and its name is a combination of Basilisk and Insect. The more you know. Now, this guy hits hard. He does. He's strong. He's fun. He's Pokemon Sage, in case I didn't bring that one up. I'm sorry if I didn't. And man, when I say he can hit hard, he can hit hard. Ironically, though, I like to give it a. I preferably give it a move that is not. I forgot to add it up here. Hang on a second. I give it a special attack for its Dragon type. That move is Caustic Breath. Now, Caustic Breath's really awesome because its special ability says it right there. While it only does 40 damage plus stab, Caustic Breath inflicts damage and has a 20% chance of lowering both the target's defense and special defense. That is killer right there. That is by far my favorite dragon move out of all the games. And that's saying a lot because I've played a lot of these games. The only way to play him, of course, is with Swarm. So I would give him Caustic Breath and Mega Horn for coverage. Mega Horn, of course, hitting like a brick house. I would give it Drain Punch to give it a little bit of health and to give it a boost, along with the item Shell Bell. And Sword Dance to boost its already incredible attack even further. Now that being said, it's time for me to bring up the final Pokemon on this list, and the only Pokemon in existence who could ever challenge the might of my favorite Bug-type Pokemon, which is Volcarona. And that Pokemon is the mighty Seikamater. Seikamater? I couldn't tell you how to spell it. Oh, right there, duh, Kyle. Seikamater. Yeah, Seikamater. It says it right up here. Just highlight it real quick. Beep. It says it's a legendary Pokemon, but actually the strange thing is you can evolve it from 3 different Pokemon. From the Pokemon that are called, they start off as, they start off as S'more, Spony, and Trixui. Excuse me. With an item called Royal Honey. Now, from Pokemon Uranium, of course, so that's why it's overpowered, but no. It's a bug normal type, but that's not what makes it strong. This Pokemon actually has 5 stabs, same type attack bonuses, and that's all thanks to its special ability, Elementalist. What Elementalist does is it treats fire type, water type, and electric type moves as if they were stab. This is the only Pokemon to have this move, so you get yourself a lot of type coverage with this little baby right here. And of course, it's always female, so you can only evolve a female. So if you're going to catch a S'more, Spony, or Trixui, preferably Trixui because it's an electric bug type. Go with the females only if you can. Pokedex entry says, the queen of all bugs in Tandor. She lurks deep within ant hell, sleeping for a year in between broods. Ooh, kind of on the creepy side. Statistically, you're talking 600 straight up, huge health pool, special attack pool, attack defense and special defense are all good. Speed being the only thing it lacks. On top of that, as far as weaknesses go, once again ignoring nuclear, flying, rock, and fire types. But don't worry about those. You have plenty of coverage for those. As far as moves go, other than previously learned moves, you gain access to a lot of really powerful moves. Defend order, heal order, attack order, of course, being moves that were originally only for Vespiquen. Yeah, Vespiquen. Also gains Quiver Dance. Of course, you guys know how I feel about Quiver Dance. Now, via its prior evolutions, woo, can it learn a lot of moves. Struggle Bug, Spider Web. The reason I choose Crystiwinf down here is, of course, you can learn Discharge, which is an amazing move. And, of course, it can learn it can learn all kinds of different elemental attacks, as you can see just scrolling through here. It doesn't learn Giga Drain, though. I don't know why. Every other one seems to. By breeding, it can learn a legion of different moves. Ice Beam's a cool one to teach. And by Move Tutor, it can learn Air Cutter, Bug Bite, Electro Web, Heat Wave, Hyper Voice, and Uproar. Of course, that's its evolutions. The little Fire Ant, the little Water Crab, and the little Electric Bug. There's its front and back. Seikamater is one of 7 Pokemon introduced to Uranium with animated sprites so far. Thanks to her ability, she has the most functioning stabs at 5. And it's the only Pokemon that can evolve from more than one different species of Pokemon. Well, in this game at least. It says down here that design origin, it incorporates elements from many different types of insects, including ants, moths, dragonflies, and bees. It's probably a combination of Sensei, Saika, and Mater for Mother. It's named after the DeviantArt user Infinipede. Now, seeing as this is the last one I'm going to talk about, and this took a while to talk about, let's bring this down to the final area. This big bouncing bug can learn a lot of attacks. It can learn a lot of abilities. But how I would set her up is quite simple. I'd use full advantage over her stab bonus, giving her Quiver Dance to give her a boost, Leftovers to give her health regeneration, and then access to Flamethrower, Discharge, and Hydro Pump. This covers all her weaknesses and most types all in one shot. Like I said, it's almost as powerful as my Volcarona. I just like Volcarona more. Thank you all for joining me for this very first episode. I'm sorry I took so long. I promise next time I probably won't take as long. Once again, this is my first solo outing. I hope you guys enjoy this. If you have any Fakemon from any video games, from any fan-made Pokemon games, leave them in the comments below. Tell me how I did. Did I screw up a lot? Am I a horrible person? Go ahead. I'll take your blows. Go for it. This is just my opinion, though. Once again, everyone has opinions. Trust me, most of them suck, mine included. Go out and play some of these games. Download them for free. Get going. If you're on for a Pokemon challenge, these games will give it to you. Some may be short. Uranium is not. So, until next time, folks, I'm KaijuK. And from the Monsters of Gaming, I say, I'll see you next time. Peace out, everybody.